On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have left California.
This Brownsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised that the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Dolomite, we are for real. Good morning and welcome to a Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that host, or I should say the one half of the team, Cole Johnson. The other half will probably join me momentarily. He might be off today, don't know yet. But what I do know is we're going to quickly go through the whip around, and then afterwards we'll get totally Deets with Christopher Deets of the Fifth Down Sports Show. But now, the whip around. To Russell Westbrook, he surpasses Allen Iverson on the all-time NBA scoring list. He entered yesterday's game against the Grizzlies, needing 35 points to surpass Iverson's mark of 24,368 points. Now, he went on to score just one more, 36 points. He added 10 dimes and 4 boards in the Clippers' 141-132 road victory in Memphis. Now, he passed Iverson, the 76ers legend, who played 14 years in the league. And now, Westbrook is 27th on the scorers list. Now, he is 135 points away from passing Ray Allen after the win. Well, congratulations to you, Brody. I hope you can continue onward, and well, we'll see how many marks you do break. For the first time since Republicans gained control of the U.S. House of Representatives in 2022 elections, a panel of lawmakers yesterday returned its attention to the NCAA's ongoing battle dealing with the NIL. Those who don't know, that is the name, the image, and the likeness of the player. In his opening statement, the subcommittee chair, Gus Burikas, he said that a federal standard is needed regarding NIL activities, and the full committee's ranking member said in his opening statement, while dealing with the NIL issues as a start, Congress was also address athletes' health and safety as well, and their right as well to organize in schools' gender equity problems. Well, I'm glad that you all have the time to go through the bureaucracy. It is a simple case of these players are putting forth their sweat for these schools while they now earn pennies on the dollar when beforehand they weren't earning anything. The schools were pocketing tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year off of them. So there isn't anything that needs to be regulated. Really, there isn't anything that needs to be said. These college players, they put forth the sweat on the front of the jersey, the name on the front of the jersey. It's time they get some compensation for what's on the back of it. Now, we know Major League Baseball has a union. Now the minor league system has one. They will have their first collective bargaining agreement as the Major League Baseball Players Association and the Minor League Baseball Players Association reached a 5-year deal. Now, the officials who spoke on anonymity, because they were not authorized to comment on it publicly until the official vote, said that it will take place tomorrow during minor leagues opening day. Now, minor leaguers will get a significant raise, with pay at least doubling at every level. For the complex leagues, They will get 19,800 up from 4,800. Low A ball gets now 26,200. That's up from 11,000. High A gets 27,300, also up from 11,000. Double A will get now $30,250. That's up from 13,008. And Triple A will now you will earn $35,800. That is up from 17,500. Now there's many times that I basically poo-poo on unions. For this case and for very few others, I will actually champion it. I think this is good for the league. Now the question is, how strong can they be in fighting for the rights of their players? That is the question. The answer will be, of course, brought forth to our attention in the years to come. But looks like the minor leagues are now going in the right direction, and hopefully conditions for minor leaguers improve because of it. With their season slipping into absolute disaster, the Dallas Mavericks now notched a needed victory against the Pacers back on Monday. But while necessary, the victory does not resolve all the issues the Mavericks have with less than 2 weeks remaining in the regular season. Their star, Luka Doncic, is struggling, and he's also frustrated and the Kyrie Irving trade has done absolutely abysmal. Now, back on the 14th of January, the Mavericks were 24-20. They were sitting pretty in 5th place in the Western Conference. They were only a half a game behind Sacramento for 4th, which meant that they would have had home court advantage should that season end then. Now they are 37-39, and they're sitting at 11th place, which means if the season were to end today, the Mavericks will be out the playoffs. And guess who you have to thank for that? Thank you, Uncle AWOL. You once again disintegrate another team into the drain. And the Major League pitch clock has trimmed time. String training games now down 26 minutes after pitch clock implementation. And all I have to say about that is the pitch clock may actually reduce my watching of the sport altogether. Get that pitch clock out of my face and out of the game. And that concludes the whip around. All right, before we do take our first break, onward to the Fanatic Feedback Zone. Our guest to come very soon, Christopher Dietz, he says, good morning, everyone. I have breaking news today, good news, bad news, and warning. To make sure that our national pastime doesn't become a thing of the past, just another totally Dietz day. Well, I pretty much mentioned one of those things. Get that pitch clock out of our faces. He also says, did anyone figure out the answers to the riddles from last week? What's Wise's favorite team? And what was their nickname in the late 90s and early 2000s? The Knicks, and they just simply couldn't get past the Bulls. Okay, there we go. Now I feel better. VLock83 or Vicala or Victor Lock, he says, sorry, Deets. I wasn't able to guess it. I thought it was G-Men for the Giants. D says, no worry, Victor. That's why it's a riddle, and the answer may surprise you. And Victor says he can't wait to hear it. Good morning, Snow Crew says no credential required. Its own Ryan McCarthy. Good morning to you, sir. I hope the brew is good for you this morning. He also said to Fit Down Sports Show, or Deets, I watched Once Upon a Time in Queens over the weekend, and I forgot Darryl Strawberry had just as sweet of a bat swing as Ken Griffey Jr. How could you not? I mean, that swing was one of the prettiest power swings I've ever seen. I've actually said that. I think Strawberry has the prettiest power swing that I've ever seen in the history of the game. And Griffey just had a sweet swing, period. I mean, it just looked as if both of them were not even trying. It was like, oh, okay, I'm just putting the bat out there, put the barrel of the bat on the ball, and just put enough torque on it to where it will travel far. He also says, Russell Westbrook surpassed Adam Irvinson, but both are trash. You are a fool, Ryan. Oh, my gosh. He also says, I wrote an article last year about the top teams who could have been dynasties, Chris, in response to the docuseries. I'll post a link to it later. In fact, he posted a link just now. It's from Belly Up Sports, if you want to actually look for the article yourselves. Deet says, actually, it's a great documentary. Nostalgic, but sad overall when you see all that wasted talent and potential. Victor Locke says, yeah, Kyrie Pinkett. Good Lord. A Pizzle, FAU alum. He'll, of course, smile is still from ear to ear, even today, and will be tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be Saturday up until the games that they play in Houston. He says, Kyrita Herbal Tea, trash. And he also says, good morning. And Deet says he'll definitely check out that link after the show, Ryan. And thank you for the link. And if you're in the YouTube, you'll see it. If you're watching on BS3, you'll also see that link. In fact, you'll see it now. That would teach you to actually come on and watch us live or watch us on BS3 Network Live. That is at 8 Eastern in the morning, 7 Central in the morning. That's every Monday through Friday. When we return, we will get totally deets, and you never know what he's going to say and where he's going to go, but you can rest assured the brains will be a churning for all of us. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Will be right back.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus, smarter than energy.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for Monday. Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. Cause
and to knock a man because he makes $1,000 a week? Oh, y'all need to get over yourselves, ladies. This is ridiculous. Because some of y'all not even making $1,000 a week. No, we're more than working hard, and there's so much more to us. And if you would really sit down and get to know a man, then you would see this. But y'all want to continue to put a value on what we do, or a dollar value. Please stop it. Get over yourselves. Because some of y'all not bringing in 500 a week. So what the y'all talking about? Get over it. And that's all I got to say for this week. And oh yeah, Boston. That's the Yankee fan in me.
Who does he tell to get out of the closet? Because yes, that is on this episode of Mentality. You can watch it on the YouTube channel of Kobe Media Incorporated and Real-Wise TV, also Snowman Media, Multimedia as well. And tune in because this show actually is on TV now. Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on the BS3 network via Roku TV. You can catch the television replay or you can catch it on YouTube. Back at it on Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson, and we will be joined momentarily by Mr. Deeds. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you to everybody, just in support of everything that we do, whether it is Snowman in the Morning, whether it is the Brian Snow Show, whether it is Cole Sports, whether it is Mentality, whether it's Stuck in My Mind, whether it's Fit Down Sports Show or No Credentials Required, or Sam Shady's Shady Sports Network, or Eagles Elite with Cool McCain. This is a wonderful cadre we're building, and I believe I can say on behalf of all the content creators that are here, that are comprised of here, we sincerely thank you, the Sig Diggies, the Andrews, the A. Pizzles, who also is a content creator himself, the Victor Locks. It is because of you we exist, and Hall TVs. It's because of all of you we exist, and we do this. And we do this with joy because we have wonderful individuals like you that make us want to churn out better content than the day before and the episode before. So on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for all who are watching. Thank you for all who are listening, definitely on WKEE in Atlanta. And thank you for all of the podcast listeners as well who download us and listen to us over and over again, and YouTubers who watch us over and over again. Just wanted to get that off my chest before we continue. And now we're going to continue getting totally deets. Passionate.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight!
Totally.
This one has a chance!
Deets.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
And now here's one of those content creators, the man who is in charge of the Fifth Down Sports Show, the one and only Chris Deets. How are you doing, man?
I am doing great. Cole, you are a genius. I can't stress that enough. I mean, I sit there, I come up with a riddle. What is Wise's favorite team? And what's the promo you play right before I come on? Wise wearing a Yankees hat, talking about Boston.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go above and beyond with the last topic of the whip around, talking about the pitch clock, the changes to baseball, and your comment about it will make you stop watching baseball. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the biggest part. That we're going to get to that later on.
Awesome.
But that ties directly into the topic of the day. But before we get to that, before we get to all of that,
all right,
let me start with the breaking news, because the breaking news involves not just me, but it involves this entire chat and everybody in what I call the Snowman Army. We are going to need y'all, okay? I need y'all to open up your calendars. If you have it on your phone, or if you're old school and you write on it, get your daily planner out. Saturday, April 8th at 8:30 p.m., the Fifth Down Sports Show will be taking his talents to the Legacy Maker Sports Network for Drew McCarthy's show, In or Out Debate, and yours truly will make his inaugural appearance on that program April 8th. I don't know. I don't even know if Drew has put it out there yet. He sent me the icon he drew up, so I figured I could promote it. But the thing I want everybody to know is it is an interactive deal. It is live. Y'all can get in the chat, and we can take over that show. And that's what I'm saying. The Snowman Army can come, and we can bring it. And of course, I'm going to bring it there. I'm going against the 17-time champion because Fit Down Sports, we don't attack the little guy. We go for the big dog. 17-time appearance, and we're going right at Mr. Joey. So it'll be a fun time. Of course, everybody knows Sports Sensei Drew. He'll be all over it, and it'll be a fun time. So April 8th, 8:30 p.m. Be there. It'll be awesome. So that's the breaking news that I have.
All right. Well, there you have it. April 8th, Drew Willingham on one side of the screen, Chris Dietz on the other side of the screen. Yes, in or out meets Fit Down Sports Show, April 8th, 8 p.m. Eastern on the In or Out Sports Debate. And considering the platform, and I've been on it myself, and I've been a contributor in terms of commenting myself, that particular platform is right down your alley, man.
It's going to be fun. I was in the chat with Drew on Sunday, and messing around with the guys while they were doing it, and then Drew said, "Hey, you want to come on?" And I was jumped right on it. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Yeah. And so we'll get to all that. So that's the breaking news. All right. Now for the good news. The good news that I have to report today, and usually I come on here with just telling you about crappy stuff, but today this is just over the wire. I just learned this. So I have to tell this story. So there's a girl, her name is Kara Lynn. And she worked for a certain gaming company. Mm-hmm. And one of her coworkers decided she was too conservative for his liking. So he outed her on social media. And the gaming company decided to reprimand her by firing her. Sounds like a bad story. Here's where it gets good. I have talked about my man Eric July and the Rippaverse. He created his own comic book line, his own comic book production company. Well, Eric July heard about this story and heard about her, had her on his YouTube program to interview, talk to her, whatever. Well, according to another YouTuber that I was watching this morning, Eric July with the Rippaverse hired this woman to work at his comic book shop, at his comic book productions, to be a social media person to basically to just spread the word out, and has hired her on. What an amazing story. This is somebody who was savaged online. Her own company that she worked for threw her under the bus. And here comes this guy who started his own business with his own money. And he says, you know what? You were done wrong. Come work for me and we'll make this right. That's what this world is about. That's what we're here for. And so to Eric July and to the Rippaverse, props to you guys. It was heartwarming. It made me feel so good watching that story this morning.
Oh, cool. That is good. And before you continue, we're also here for this as well.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
The is that? Sorry, pardon me. My apologies.
What in the all types of blue hell? This It's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
And now batting, the man who is the mentality MVP, number 420, Wise El Jefe. Number 420.
I'm co-MVP. The EP who makes the show really makes the magic. So
I appreciate that. Good morning, man.
Good morning, man. How's everybody doing today?
Everything is
doing
good.
great.
Everything
Well,
is good.
another Cole Johnson magic. Right as I was about to reveal Wise's the riddle, Wise just shows up. Amazing how Cole makes that happen. But
I figured I was timing it just right, so
it was perfect. So before I get to the main topic, so we talked about all the news. I broke the news. I talked about good news. But now I'll reveal the answer to the riddle. And Wise, I'll let you do. Wise, who's your favorite baseball team?
The Yankees.
The Yankees. Thank you. That was the answer. Ryan McCarthy did have it last. Now, yes. Yankees fans, Ryan McCarthy's right. They did call it the Core Four. However, everyone else in baseball, everyone else who was a baseball fan, and especially when I was in college in the late 90s, early 2000s, the New York Yankees. Wise, do you remember what people called the New York Yankees at that time?
When?
The late 90s, early 2000s.
Like starting in 96. Starting 96 and going about like 2002.
I'll give you a hint. It comes from a movie.
Well, it ain't 8 Men Out.
No.
No, it's not about baseball. It's about a space adventure. It's about a space adventure.
We'll call it Evil Empire.
The Evil Empire.
Yeah, Boston gave us that name.
Yes,
and they gave you that
again.
name
I
long
went to
before,
school. I went to school in Springfield, Massachusetts, where
they gave you that name long before then. Yeah.
Every time the Yankees were playing in the playoffs, they would have huge pictures of the Evil Empire, and they would have Jeter in there. They would have Joe Torre as Emperor Palpatine, and they would have A-Rod was the big guy at the time, so they would have him with the Darth Vader mask and all of that. So it was that cool. And the reason I bring that up is I have to check this here. All right. So I talked about breaking news. I talked about good news. I have to deliver some bad news for everybody here today. And everybody listening in chat and everybody that's here. 8:53 Eastern Time on March 30th, 2023.
Yes, sir.
Star Wars as an IP is dead. Pronounced dead on arrival. If you have paid attention to this franchise since Disney took over about 10 years ago to where they are now, if you've been paying attention to season 3 of The Mandalorian, the ratings for The Mandalorian, a Star Wars show, worst rated show in the history of streaming.
No, not even
Star Wars.
Plus. Wow.
They can't even sell product now. This was something they could put a lightsaber. They could put a lightsaber up and immediately sell 1 million of them. They can't even get a lightsaber crowdfunded right now. This IP is dead. They killed it. Now, all right. So when I started bringing up all this entertainment stuff on the shows here, and it started with the Black Panther, my Black Panther review, Wise came on and asked one of the greatest questions of all time. Why are you doing this? Which, by the way, go back. I would
you.
challenge Cole. I would challenge Cole with this, and I'm sure he will get something out of this. But I'll challenge Cole. Go find that episode and just get Wise's, because when Wise said it, you go, why are y'all talking about this? This is why I've been talking about all of this. This is why I'm talking about all this, and why I bring up Star Wars right now is because the things that we love, we don't want to see them crumble. We don't want to see them taken out from the inside. We don't want to see, we see things that happen. What happened to Star Wars is happening to Major League Baseball right now. And Major League Baseball is in the middle of it. And they have a chance to course correct if they can recognize it. And if we don't recognize it as fans of the game, if we don't recognize it, we're going to look up one day and be exactly like Star Wars fans are right now of, how did this happen? How did we get from America's pastime to completely irrelevant?
Oh, you mean from America's pastime to America's afterthought, which it's almost becoming already?
And just
it's not engaging. It's not engaging.
And no, it's not
even before the pitch clock.
It's not a one. This isn't a one-step process. This has been going on for a long time, and the parallels to what Star Wars did are uncanny. When I was thinking about this, so phase one of property destruction. Phase one is you have to split the fan base. Now, Star Wars did this by releasing The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi had people who loved it, people who hated it.
Oh, not even before the last one. Okay, wow.
And they split right down the middle. You had people who absolutely swear it's the greatest thing they've ever seen. You have people who swear it's the worst thing that's ever been put out, and they fight constantly. Well, what happens when you have two groups fighting? The people in the middle who are like, I don't really care. I watched it. It was okay. I don't really feel anyway. You know what happens? Some of those people, they jump to one side or the other, but some of those people fall out. Some of those people go, you know what? I'm done. You guys are bickering. You guys are fighting back and forth. I don't care anymore. I'm out. Right. And they just leave.
Yeah.
You lose some fans there, and you've split your fan base side to side. Now, that's how Star Wars did it. With Major League Baseball, it's more the steroid era. When you look at when you look at people and people talk about, when people talk about the steroid era, there's hardliners on the right that say, nope, steroids nothing can be involved. You talk about it and you're done.
It's ridiculous because prior to it, there was nothing in the books about people using it. There was no rules against it.
Right. There's people on the left that say, hey, it happened. It's not a big deal. I don't care.
But man, were they quick to shame those who actually were found out that they took it, though?
And those people fight each other. And then you have people like me in the middle. And I think this is what Wise was saying, is you have people like me in the middle who go, it happened. Okay? It happened.
Move on.
Get over
deal with it. And move on. Because every time it comes up, I'm just like, I don't want to hear about this anymore. I don't care. They don't care about steroids. They took steroids. Who cares?
But you always will when you have people like Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, who will be considered every year for the Hall of Fame.
To me, they're both Hall of Fame. They're both Hall of Famers,
and they both are Hall of Famers. Yeah,
we'll get to that. We'll get to them in a minute because they're part of this plan as well.
This is about people's opinions of them, because that's what the voters are. It's their opinions of these players, right? So, as great as they think these players are, they don't want to go against oh, steroids are bad, so we cannot elect these players into the Hall of Fame, even though they have Hall of Fame credentials prior to whatever the steroids was.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it seems to me that once they started taking the steroids, it started hurting them because they were getting injured more often. You didn't really see prior to that. The Boston Clemens was a beast. He didn't look like he took steroids.
Boston, Toronto, everywhere Clemens was, he dominated. But again, you have people who are on both sides, and every time something comes up, every time we can go back to last year when Aaron Judge was going through his home run thing. Every time somebody commented on Aaron Judge, oh, what about Barry Bonds? And then all of it would come up. Oh, he took steroids. Who cares? Well, and at the end of the day, you're like, all right, don't care.
Then there's Roger Maris Jr. saying, Aaron Judge, the real home run king. Shut up.
That's part of it. That's part of the
American League. He's the American League home run king.
Yes.
He's the American League home run king.
Yeah.
That's enough. So now that you've split the fan base, now you move on to phase 2, which is you have to destroy the past. You have to destroy the past to promote the future. That's what Star Wars. That's exactly what Star Wars did.
This part of your argument about Star Wars. This is why I dislike the chain now. Go ahead.
They killed off Han Solo in Force Awakens.
Right.
They killed off Luke, and not just killed Luke. They character assassinated Luke before they even killed him. And they killed him off. And then Carrie Fisher dies. You lose Leia, Luke, and Han Solo.
3 pillars of the franchise. Yeah.
And not only that, you have the characters in the movie actually saying, we thought it was a myth. We didn't believe in them at all. We didn't care about any of them. You have the people actually telling you, for people that grew up on the original trilogy, right, or that grew up on the prequel trilogy, you have them saying, by the way, these characters don't matter.
Yeah.
Look at our new characters. But the old ones, don't worry about them. Baseball is doing the same thing by excluding guys that we talked about, Roger Clemens, guys like Barry Bonds, and anybody from that era. They're pretty much getting pushed aside, saying, "No, look at our new people. Look at our new people. Look at all the new faces we have. And cheer for them." They're not related to those old guys.
Look at David Ortiz, who actually abused steroids himself. Yeah, this guy was not in the steroids era, and he should be the shiny new toy, or one of the shiny new toys you should look at as a future Hall of Fame. This is what a Hall of Famer now after the steroids era looks like. That sounds hypocritical to me.
And there's no bigger.
What annoys me?
Go ahead.
What annoys me? The steroids era. Just the fact that they call it. I don't care what era it is. Listen, there was a select handful of players that was using steroids. Not everyone is success. Everybody, the steroids didn't help these players.
Sure didn't.
No, but you have. I mean, one of the greatest things in baseball, one of the greatest stories in baseball, was Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Still, that 25 years later, it's still the best moment I think I've ever seen
at that moment. At that moment, baseball needed this. They needed that home run chase, right?
Yeah, they
needed because the fans weren't coming back after the strike.
Right.
They were not doing the numbers. That home run chase saved baseball. So now, for you to try to shame it, but at that time you was glorifying the home runs, glorifying Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, because baseball needed it. The fans came back to see the chase.
It was so popular.
So it made
they were breaking into regular programming for us to see Sammy Sosa or Mark McGwire at bat. That's
Yes.
how big.
Yes.
That's how big that home run chase was.
So now to make it the villain, to make that era the villain when it's that era that saved baseball.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting there
I
and
agree
you're
with this.
telling people like us that lived through it, you're telling us, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. No, we lived it. We know it was a big deal.
No, it's worse. It's not that big of a deal. It's a don't even pay attention to it. It didn't happen. It didn't exist.
But we saw it. We saw it firsthand.
Right. To your point, to both your points, yeah, we both saw. We all three of us, we saw it. We witnessed it. And many in the chat, we witnessed it. We saw it. But
exactly.
You have MLB saying don't even pay attention to it.
And MLB is saying don't pay attention to it. Don't bring it up. We don't want to talk about it anymore.
Right.
That's a huge mistake. Baseball, huge mistake. And again, look at what Star Wars, they tried to erase the original trilogy, and look where they are. This is what I'm talking about. The parallels are right there. But the biggest parallel is character assassination. They assassinated Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. You assassinated him. You made him
the most important character in the whole story.
You took a guy whose entire run was about hope and about he believed in everything, and then you have him in this what they call the sequel trilogies. You have him. Oh, he just ran off to a mountain and got out of the way.
This is how they treated a conquering
and he just didn't want to deal with anybody. He
see in your face that these movies have really devastated you with what they've done.
He was so defeated. It was awful. This
is how they treated a conquering hero.
Yeah.
Because at the end of Jedi, he was the guy. But you wouldn't think it, and
because you have to continue
sequels that follow.
Because you have to continue the franchise with your new faces and attract the younger audience. Mark Hamill means something to us. Okay? He means something to us. To a younger generation, not so much.
But you can do that without assassinating his character.
I'm with you on that, but
this is how they have. This is business to me. It's just because the way I look at it is things change. I'm not a fan of the new Star, so I won't waste my money or time watching it.
Which is fine. I'm saying
that's just me. Yeah. I gravitate to things that I enjoy, and so there's a lot of things I've stopped. I rarely watch a baseball game. Yeah, I talk my sports. I read, but it's because I'm reading articles. I'm reading something on ESPN. It's not because I'm watching TV or watching the sports. Because a lot of this stuff to me is so all about the money, and it's no longer about the love for the entertainment, the art, the sport. It's all about the dollars now. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And so for me, I rather sit down and enjoy watching one of your guys' shows or watching one of the other shows, stopping by, because to me that's more entertaining. To me that's more real. And so
absolutely.
Oh, 100 wise.
For me, it's real that way. And so I rather enjoy things that I can really truly relate to. And enjoy the people that I know are putting out some great content. I'd rather sit down and watch a fellow podcaster and watch their show. I'll tune into whoever show.
That's basically all I watch. I watch YouTube TV, and that's about it.
I'm not enjoying any of the stuff that they put out. There's a few shows that I do watch, and I'll watch that with the wife. But other than that, there's nothing I really truly, not even wrestling I don't follow anymore with some of the nonsense that it's just.
But you look at what
I
baseball
highlights too of that.
But you look at what baseball has done.
Before you go, Deeds, I want to tie both of your statements together. I totally understand what Deeds is saying, because if you're going to build a franchise off of pillars, you should not destroy them, even if you're trying to bring in new viewers, because you will basically stain what you're trying to build in terms of a franchise. So I understand that. But to your point, Wise, yes, I get that basically you have these new creators just all about the money, and they're like, okay, we want to draw the new fans. And if the old heads like the two of us, and you can throw Deets in there too, if they don't follow, fine, forget them. We're not trying to attract them. We're trying to attract the 18 to 35-year-olds. So I get all of that. I do. The problem, though, lies, though, when you have the issue of forget the old and bring in the new. In terms of Star Wars, in my opinion, I personally believe that they should not have had such a long break in between episodes 4, 5, and 6 and episodes 1, 2, and 3. Because I think they should.
Why even start the story with episodes 4, 5, 6? So the question could be like, what do they know is going to be eventually start off?
No, they George Lucas knew 1, 2, and 3 were not going to be big. We're not going to be big until you got to 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6.
And that's why he started at 4, and then he said, well, I have all this stuff written. When they hit big, he said, I have all this stuff written. And they said, well, let's do that. Let's just do that and put that out. So that's why they went back to 1, 2, and 3. Right. And then, of course, Disney bought it, and then we get 7, 8, and 9. But to what baseball has done, look what baseball has done to Curt Schilling. They have absolutely killed Curt Schilling. And this is a guy who he can't even get a vote for the Hall of Fame. And this is a guy who pitched in 4 World Series, was the first guy to go 3 games in a World Series. And he is the reason, and Wise earmuffs, he's one of the reasons the bloody sock, it was one of the reasons that was so epic. It was because of Curt Schilling. And they have totally character assassinated this guy for no reason at all.
Well, there's
no reason at all.
Well, there's one reason, and then it's an unfortunate one. It basically is
it's for political. It has nothing to do with the game.
It has nothing to do with baseball. It has everything to do with his political stances, which I believe I can speak on behalf of both of you when I say I could give a crap what he believes.
Exactly. I don't care what Curt Schilling's not going to change my mind on anything.
Right.
Anything other than, hey, can you throw a fastball?
Except for him being a White Sox, Wise.
Listen. He is a great pitcher. I will never deny anybody their talent. He was a great pitcher.
Yeah.
But do you really think I care about Curt Schilling? I don't care about Curt. You're Red Sox.
Well, we all know you don't care about.
Listen, he deserves his shot. He deserves to be in the. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Though he is a great pitcher.
He does.
But
He does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
You think I'm gonna cry? You think I'm gonna cry over him not making the Hall of Fame? Let's be honest. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry about him not making the Hall of Fame. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
I mean, he's pitched for every team.
No, you're not gonna lose sleep
that I dislike. He's pitched for every team I dislike.
He deserves to be in there. He deserves.
He's still a guy that deserves to be in there. He does not deserve all the crap that he gets.
Yeah. I don't think we both argue with. No, I agree. He doesn't deserve it.
I'm just saying.
I get why.
I'm not
wore
going to
Red
cry
Sox uniform.
over. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to lose.
You're not
going to
lose sleep over a Red Sox.
Not at all.
But Red Sox pitcher who doesn't even go into Hall.
No, I could care less if any Red Sox player gets into the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Care less.
But so now that you've desecrated the past, now you're losing all your past people are saying, this isn't the game I watched, this isn't the story I watched. And now to bring you back in, we're gonna bring up a villain from before. That's how we're gonna bring you back in. Well, that's what they did, bringing Emperor Palpatine back. And everybody that was in from the old trilogy said, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Well, how does baseball do that? They bring out their biggest villain every single year whenever somebody brings up the Hall of Fame and whose name gets thrown out there?
Oh, Barry Bonds.
Pete Rose.
See, I don't think
every year we have to deal with Pete Rose. They need to just nip this in the butt and say, Pete Rose, in, out, who cares? Stop talking about it. Because the way I feel about Pete Rose is Pete Rose signed his own death warrant. I don't care.
Of course he did.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so Pete Rose to me,
I don't think he's that villain type. Personally, I don't.
He did. Listen, Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
he did some dumb crap. He did some dumbest things you could say. Yes, he was dumb. He was an idiot.
100%.
But you cannot deny what the man has meant to baseball, what he did on the field. I get it. His vices has destroyed his chances to be in the Hall of Fame.
But what I'm more getting to is
Victor has this question for you, Wise. So, what if it was CC Sabathia and he endured the same thing Kurt Schilling does?
It won't happen to CC. It won't happen because okay, you can't compare the two because writers actually love CC.
Yeah, that's true. They do.
The writers actually love CC. Kurt Schilling has had a relationship with these writers that not a lot of them care for.
It's a love-hate.
He's kind of a prick. CC, you don't get that from CC. CC's this big, lovable guy, and so to me that's why there's a difference. But I'm not saying Kurt Schilling shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. That's Vicola. We're not saying that he's not. I'm just saying I don't care.
I know you don't care simply because he wore the Red Sox jersey. I get it.
Yeah.
I fully understand that.
But if you've seen the latest episode of Mentality, you would know how I feel about.
Oh, we all saw it with the commercial that Cole put together.
If you've seen the latest episode of Mentality, you will get my feeling on Boston.
We all saw it.
Yeah.
Oh yes, but I'm not. It's not that I disagree with you on the overall point, Deeds. I just don't think Pete Rose is that villain type because there's a lot of people who don't look at him as a villain. They look at him as a sympathetic figure and they pity him because of the deal he signed back in 1989 and the comment that we just heard Wise say about him, that it was basically a stupid thing that he did. So I don't know if he's a villain. Barry Bonds, on the other hand, that is the villain to me. Every time you mention his name, and we hear it every single summer when you have the list that's going to be brought forth and who's going to be voted in the Hall of Fame.
Why is he the villain?
He's the villain because you got so many people say cheater. Oh, the cream. Asterisk.
But why?
He ain't the home run. He ain't the home run king.
Why?
Steroids.
Why?
Steroids. No. And steroids. I'm not going to really go that far with it.
He's the.
But he also was a prick too with the media.
Barry Bonds is the villain to baseball because he was very antagonistic to baseball writers and to baseball people in general.
Everyone.
But he had a reason for that. He just didn't want to be bothered. He just wanted to play baseball and get out of my way.
Right.
And people didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And he
So to me, that is your ultimate baseball villain. Pete Rose, he's so lovable. He's so lovable. Even if he tries to hate him, you don't. You actually like the guy. He's like one of those guys you want to have a beer with. With Barry, it's like, you get away from me. You're a prick. And that's how most people feel. I don't feel that way about him, but that's how most people feel about him. So to me, he's the ultimate baseball villain.
But that's what they do at this point is they bring up this villain or they bring up somebody nostalgic from the past, and everybody from the past is like, we know what you're doing and we're not getting on board, and not only you're crushing us by doing this, so we're not getting on board. The new people, they don't care about all this, so it doesn't help them, and so it just erodes your fan base even more, and now you're dwindling. You're spinning down the drain, and it was said back in the chat a while ago. Victor said it. He said, Rise of Skywalker was so bad because the last words of the movie, when Rey says, "I'm Rey Skywalker," that's the next phase of this, is when you try to make your current people, you try to make them into the stars that we know and love.
Mythological figure, yeah.
You try to say, no, look, our guys are those guys. Our guys are the same as yours. No, they're not. They're different. And again, we have to go back to last year with Aaron Judge. Oh, he's Barry Bonds. No, he's not.
No,
Barry.
he's not. He's different.
He's Aaron Judge.
Let him be his own.
Aaron Judge,
yes.
and Aaron Judge is great.
Yes.
Let Aaron Judge be Aaron Judge.
Let him be his own legend. Yeah.
Yes. And but baseball always wants to tie it into, no, he's this. He's Roger Maris. He's this. He's
Mickey Mouse.
They want to.
They want to Judge.
They want to use the past when it's convenient for them. They don't want to use the past when it's a black eye to the sport. They want to use it for when it's a convenience to them. So they want to compare it to the great players of who are squeaky clean. Roger Maris. They were like, oh yes, he was. No, listen, these players nowadays are their own. Trey Turner is Trey Turner. I don't compare him to anyone else.
Right.
Bryce Harper is Bryce Harper. I don't compare him to anyone else.
Right.
These players work hard to get here and achieve the achievements that they do. Okay, yeah, it's great to compare them. Yeah, it's good, but they are not those players. They are who they are.
And you're talking about Deets. You're talking about a dangerous slippery slope that seemingly we do with the sports debates all across the profession. I mean, all you have to do in basketball is just say number 6 of the Lakers versus Jordan, and then there you go. In football, there's so many. Montana versus Brady, or Montana versus or Manning versus Brady, or Manning versus Rodgers. And you just see it all downward spiral to where it's like, okay, the established stars of today, they have to get compared to and have to live up to and possibly try to surpass, in some people's minds, the legends that came before them. And it's unfair to both. It's unfair to the legends that came before them. It's unfair to the guys who are playing now. And then you get to Aaron Judge. This guy is a 5'2" player in his own right. And let him shine in his own right. You don't have to compare him to a Barry Bonds, who, yes, he also was a 5'2" player in his own right. And just because he wears a Yankee uniform, you don't have to compare him to DiMaggio or Ruth or Gehrig or Mantle or even Reggie Jackson. You don't have to compare him to any other legend and that wore the Yankee uniform, or comparing to Jeter now that he's a captain. You don't have to compare. You don't have to compare Judge to anybody of the Yankees of the past.
Aaron Judge.
Enjoy him for the player that he is now.
He is Aaron Judge. That's who he is. He just happened. He is a 6'8", 2-something
outfielder
that can play center field.
That can run like a gazelle.
That is the amazing part. He's a 6'7" outfielder, and he plays center field. I find that more remarkable than the fact that he could rake 62 homers in a year.
And it's crazy to even imagine that he's gotten better.
Got better every year. Yeah,
every year. Mm-hmm. And there's no doubt in my mind he's probably going to be better. He probably won't hit 660 home runs, but he's going to put up 45. I think
he can.
He's going to have a remarkable all-around season.
Yeah. Oh, easily. I mean, he came this close to winning the Triple Crown. So yeah, I could see him doing that again, or at least getting one. I could see that.
Which brings me to the next thing.
Before you do that, sir, let's do a reset, since we're now in hour number 2. And hour number 2 was the Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson begins now.
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular. Ryan McCoffey now joins us this morning.
That's what you need to do to beat Josh Allen. You need to make him uncomfortable.
Hour 2, time for some Spivey notes. And here's Jay.
Well, I know he's only in his 3rd year, but they're just wasting Justin Herbert.
Hour 2,
the hardest working content creator I know, the playmaker.
Hey, LeBron James, the greatest scorer of all time. Hey.
Hour 2,
the one, the only Christopher Dietz.
They rewarded Ohio State for not playing, and they punished USC for playing.
Hour 2, Sam Shady.
Oh, man. It's been a roller coaster ride if you were a Philadelphia Stars fan.
Hour 2, that's Big Ben, the man in charge of the BS3 network.
And if I see Kurt 2 Chainz Cousins out.
Hour 2, Chris Bay's joining us.
Oh my God! Oh, this game! Oh, way to go, Sammy!
Hour 2, YSL.
Oh man, I thought I missed it.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular, and it starts right now.
And if you're just joining us, welcome to hour number 2 of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson on a Thursday. We are inside Totally Deeds, where the subject of today is the death of Major League Baseball is equal to the death of the Star Wars franchise. Interesting parallel, and it's brought forth, of course, by Chris Deeds of the Fifth Down Sports Show. And, all right, sir, as you were saying.
As I was saying, so now that none of that stuff that you've done, none of that's working. Everybody's getting out. So what do you have to do? So you have to make your people. You have to make your current stars. You have to make them somehow prosperous. So what do? You change the rules. You start changing rules to make people pay attention to your product. Whether it's in Star Wars, you make the Force just absolutely insane. It can heal people now. You can pick ships out of the sky and do crazy random things. You can teleport, talk to each other. Like you can do crazy things that have no rule that were not done before. You change the rules of your universe to try to fit and make your people and make your other people look better. Well, so that's what Star Wars did, and everybody was like, "You're changing everything. Why is this happening?" This again, old people that are old school, they're watching this and they're going, "This isn't what I used to do. This isn't why I came here. This isn't what I grew up with. I'm out. I'm out of here." And Cole, you said it before I even came on. You know, the pitch clock. Oh, it's and they're going to try to tell you, "Oh, it's working." Mm-hmm. Oh, really? It's working? No, it's not working because it's just upsetting half your audience. Is upset about it already, and it hasn't even become a regular season thing yet.
To me, it is unnecessary. Why are we having a clock to dictate pace of play? I thought you paid 4 guys to do that. They're called umpires.
Exactly. The umpire should be the one that says, "Hey, you need to pick it up. If you don't pick it up, we're going to start calling balks. We're going to start calling this. Right. We're going to start doing that, and you need to pick it up." That's how it's always been handled. But because umpires are useless now, they
that's the word.
They can't. They have to manufacture it. Oh, that's the word. Because our guys can't hit now. No shifting. Well, how are you going to implement that? Like you can't. Like the right fielder can't move in. The outfield can't move.
Oh no, no. That's going to be the next rule. They can still move. They can shift.
No, I know they can. I'm saying
the outfield can, but that's coming. That's coming.
You know, guys like Joe Madden who really took shifting to a whole new level. Yeah. Guys like Joe Madden are going to find a way to get around this, and then they're going to have to make even more rules and even more just let the game play. Just let the game play out. We don't need all these rules. We don't need We don't need. I mean, we've seen it in college baseball. If you've watched college baseball at all this year, where you can only throw over twice, it's changed the game immensely. I mean, you can only throw. What happens when you throw over twice and the runner's like, oh, you can't throw over anymore, so I'm just going to walk to second base? Like, what is going on? No, that's not the game. That's not the way it's supposed to be played. It's supposed to be you pitch the ball, you hit it where they aim. If they want to shift on you, hit it where they're not standing. That's been the game since its creation. But no, since our guys can't do it, we have to create rules. And
that's the issue.
That's bad news for baseball. Everybody I've seen talk about this has said this angers, just like you said, Cole. The pitch clock, it makes people watch. It makes the game shorter. Well, it makes the game shorter for me because I don't watch it.
Yeah, it makes the game very short for me.
Yeah,
because now I can reduce watching any game now to about 10 minutes, which would be highlights. Because I find it ridiculous that you need to have a timed element into a game where when we both were knee-high to all of us were knee-high to grasshoppers, we're taught, well, this is the difference between baseball versus hockey, basketball, and football. This is a game that is not bound by time.
I mean, God forbid they go to the softball rules of you can only foul the ball. You can only foul the ball off a certain number of times. Like you can't have a 15 pitch at bat. Like I could see that coming down the pike of these at bats are taking too long. Well, no, that's the whole point of batting is if I can get a piece of it and foul it off, I stay at the plate.
That or
if they ever take that away, oh my God.
That or they probably will institute a 10-run rule.
Oh my God.
I could see them going that ridiculous route. I'm like, good Lord, really? It's getting utterly ridiculous. It's now to the point I don't recognize the sport. I mean, I know that it still is 9 innings. It's still 3 outs per half inning. I get that. But the way the sport moves now versus the way the sport moved 40 years ago, I don't recognize the game. And it's upsetting to me because it did not need to come to this.
It totally didn't. And I mean, I know people say, oh my, it's for television or whatever, or to get people in. I've never, ever heard somebody watch an extra inning game and come back from that game and go, man, I'm glad that game ended.
Right.
I never heard that said. I've never heard somebody that's stayed up and watched an extra inning game and said, oh, game finally ended. Now I can go to sleep. Like they get up the next day and they're like, I'm tired, but I'm glad I watched
glad I watched the game. Right. I'm like, come on. So it's going to be now it's going to be a feather in MLB's cap now, where they could say, yeah, we actually had an extra inning game and it didn't even go 2.5 hours. Really? So you're going to be proud of the fact the game moves at a faster pace and go to the length of, well, we're celebrating the fact that now 9-inning games go 2.5 hours. You could have that without the pitch clock. In fact, I attended many games live where that was the case. In fact, I attended a game about 20 years ago where the first pitch was at 7:30 and the game ended at 9:25. And it wasn't a rain delay. So if you could do that without a pitch clock, what's the need of a pitch clock?
No, because you had umpires that were, hey guys, get out here, get things going. All right, 3 warm-up pitches, get it done. That's how it's handled. You don't need a pitch clock.
And that right there goes to why I feel as though this is going to be the death of the sport as we know it. Because you said it. What's the point of umpires now? Because one of the jobs they had to do was to keep things on time. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You've seen a lot of baseball just as I have. Like when the manager or the pitching coach will come to the mound and he will huddle with probably an infielder and the catcher, and they'll talk. And about a certain amount of time, normally be about maybe 30 seconds or so, you see the home plate umpire come to the mound and say, "All right, break this up."
Yeah. I've been in those conversations where umpires have said, "All right, guys, let's go," and that's always the way it's supposed to be handled because it's organic. You cannot manufacture it.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
Right. And that's what I find problematic about this. It's like I think they're trying to manufacture it, and I believe they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's like, well, football. And it's almost like a bad channel. Well, football, they have to go 3 hours. Basketball, they try to be 2.5 hours. Sometimes it can be 2. Sometimes it goes over. But we at baseball, 2.5 hours. That is the goal because we're about the little kiddies, and we'll make sure that they get to see a full game and they get to go to bed. We get to tuck them in at night, and they know their team won or lost. Well, if that's the case, have first pitches start earlier.
Yep.
6:05.
Yep.
Thank you.
Start the games earlier if that's what you want. But we have to pay attention to the West Coast.
West Coast.
Yeah. We have to pay attention to them because we start the games at 6:00. Everybody's still at work.
Exactly. God forbid if there's a game that starts at 6.
Don't they got West Coast teams?
But you're gonna But God forbid if a game at 6 starts in New York. And you're flipping the bird to L.A. because that means that game in their market starts at 3. So be it.
You know what's really weird? That's what's really weird. That's what's really weird to me is they worry about all these. They worry about all these things like the game. They worry about the game won't start early. If I miss the first 3 innings of a game,
so be it.
But I see the last 6. I'm good with that. If I watch the first 6 games and it's too late and I have to go to bed, I'm pissed. I'm like, why could what?
And have been
what the hell?
And have
you could have started this game earlier. I could have missed the first 3 innings, and I could have watched the last inning and been happy.
And I have done that. I have been upset where I have seen the first 6 innings, but I was too young to actually watch the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and I had to go to bed and be like, doggone it, I want to know the final score. Yeah. I'd rather see the final 3, even the final 3 innings if necessary, than the first 6. And if that's the case, so be it. If a first pitch starts in New York at 6 and it's 3 in L.A. I mean, it's the opposite when first pitch would be at 6 in L.A. and it's 9 in New York. I mean,
I ain't saying enough for that.
It always baffles me when they start World Series games at 8:00 at night.
8. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they would start some of them at 9. And I'm thinking,
they'll start the pregame show at 8:00, and then
8. And
first pitch won't be till like 8:45 or whatever. Right. And I'm like, come on, dude.
Right.
I don't actually care that. No, that's why I haven't really watched it up to watch anything. To me, it's 10, 11 o'clock, 12, but sometimes 11:30. I'm like, but start the game earlier. Like, why do I have to hear whoever is talking about? Oh, this. All right, let's just get the game. Let's get the game on. Like all these extra.
So that's where baseball is at right now. That's where baseball is
at. They want to try
to
tell a story. They want to try. With my thing is they're trying to tell a story.
100 wise.
With having this story on this person, the story on that person. Like, get it going. Like, keep it moving. Like, just get the game going.
Yeah. So. Like I said, this is where baseball, and this is why I said baseball's dangerously close, because They didn't get to the next phase, which Star Wars did. And if baseball ever does, if they ever get to this point, we will know the end is near. And the end is near when you start attacking your own fans. When you start attacking, Star Wars went completely nuclear when they started calling their old fans who were mad at everything that's going on, and they were calling them out. And then all of a sudden, they're everything under the sun. Ists and phobes and this and that, and they are just slinging. They slung everything at the fan base that they could think of. And you know what? New fans were like, I don't want to get involved in this. I don't want to be called any of these names, so I don't even want to be a part of this. So new people were not even coming in. The old people are like, wait, you're calling me a racist because I don't like what you're doing? Well, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. They leave. And now you're left with the mythical people that you've been trying to court this entire time. You've been trying to find a mythical audience, and you've eroded your entire fan base, and it's gone. It's completely dead. And that's that. When baseball starts attacking its own fans, you will know that the end is near. And God forbid baseball has not gotten there yet. But you can see it coming, because I see the comments. I see people commenting on baseball all the time that are saying, I don't like any of this right now. This is horrible. And all I'm saying is, Major League Baseball, do not clap back. Take it on the chin. If somebody comes out, if somebody says something about a game this year, do not clap back at the fans. Just let fans be fans. There will be fans that love you. There will be fans that hate you.
Right.
Let the hate go, and do not respond. If you start responding to them, we will know that the end is near, because that's how you kill a franchise. Is you start attacking the people that love you. They're not coming back. And we're seeing that. We saw that with Star Wars. We saw that with Obi-Wan Kenobi. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show was absolutely, people went nuts on it. And anybody who said a bad thing, Star Wars would come out and say, oh, you just don't like it because you're racist. And then people go, nope. Oh, you called me a racist? I'm out. And we saw it with Andor comes out. And it's a great show. I watched Andor. It was good. Nobody watched it. Nobody streamed. Nobody picked it up. Why? Because they were already out. They were already gone. You desecrated everything that they believed in, and they said, I'm not even giving this new thing a shot. You had the savior of your franchise, the Mandalorian, saved your franchise after the movie, after the 3 movies that you put out that desecrated the fan base. The Mandalorian came out, and everybody was like, oh, this reminds me of old Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Now they come out with a new season, and absolutely nobody is watching it. It is the worst rated streaming show of all time, because nobody cares anymore. And baseball is deathly close to that. They're chasing a mythical fan base. What I'm trying to tell you is, you have fans. You have fans. Yes. Listen to the fans that you have. Support the fans that you have. Do everything to enrich their experience. You don't have to go out and chase people who aren't interested. If people aren't interested, they're not interested. Mm-hmm. You don't have to try to please them and say, come on over to us. We'll make the game shorter. Come on over. If they have to be enticed that way, you go, all right, you don't like our game? All right, fine. You go on. We'll cultivate with the people we have, because they will spread the game to good people. They will spread the word to their youth, to everyone that they're in touch with. Hey, come over to my house and watch the baseball game. And that's how you get people involved. You cannot drive people away from your game and expect it to grow. It's not going to happen.
No. Wow. Ryan McCarthy, again, dude his nails here. If someone calls me an ist name during a debate or conversation, that tells me you don't have the intelligence to defend your point. Yeah. And I'm sure we have run into that type of ist person during debates and conversations, especially with this. Because, of course, we'll be considered ageist with both Star Wars and Major League Baseball. But the funny thing is, what you just said is correct, Deets. Focus it toward those who actually love the sport, and you know what they'll do? Like you said, they'll pass it along, and they actually will pass it along to the younger generation. Those are the eyes you want anyway. That's how I grew to love the sport. I know that's how Wise grew to love the sport. I'm sure that's how you grew to love the sport, Deets. We saw the adults, the male adults in our lives love the sport, and then they would introduce the love and the history of the sport to us, and then we got a chance to see through their eyes why they appreciate baseball, and then we learned to appreciate the sport on our own merit. And it didn't need to be fancied with bells and whistles. We didn't really need to have fireworks. We didn't need to have pitch clocks. We didn't need to have the shift bands. We didn't need any of that. All we needed was a ball, a bat, and a ballpark, and an understanding of what the history of the sport was, and we were good to go from there.
And to that point, I know banged on baseball all show, but I'm going to give them I'm going to give props to baseball right now. And this is to what Cole just said. Today is the greatest day of that I say that I always say the best day of the year
baseball
is opening day of baseball. It is fantastic. And why is it fantastic to me? Because every time I watch, it doesn't matter what the game is. It doesn't matter what game is on TV. It doesn't matter what I'm watching. Every time I'm watching a baseball game, I go back to watching the game with my grandfather and being able to watch a Mets game with my grandfather and remember, him yelling at the Mets as they're playing. And, every time I watch a baseball game, I go back to that moment. And like you said, passing it along, that's how it's going to pass along to people, is remembering the moments that we had. And opening day is one of those days for me where my family, we used to go to opening day every year. And that's why I love opening day. I love it. We went to Shea Stadium. We made a day of it. I can remember this is just says a lot more about me than it does about anybody else. But when I was in school, when I was young in school, and I was, that kid, I mouthed off all the time. I was, somebody came up to me and they're like, "Oh, we're going to do this, this, and this on Monday." And I said, "I'm not going to be here on Monday. I'm not coming to school." And my assistant principal heard me and said, "You're not coming to school? Why?" And I was like, "It's opening day." And he said, "That's going to ruin your perfect attendance." And I said, "Screw your perfect attendance. I'm going to opening day. Get out of the way." And yeah, said that right to the assistant principal, because opening day was such an event for us. We didn't care. My parents took us out of school so that we could go to Shea, watch a game, and come back. And it was the greatest feeling in the world. And that's why I love opening day. And that's why I love watching it. And that's why, I know we usually do shows Thursday night, but not tonight. It's opening night. The Mets play at 4:00, so I'm going to watch that game. And I'm going to watch probably the Dodgers game tonight, because watching Dodgers games is always fun.
Yeah.
It's funny because even today, when I spoke to my wife earlier, she goes, "It's opening day." And I'm going, "But you don't like baseball?" She says, "No, but I know you're excited because it's opening day." I'm like, "Okay." So.
Well, I think I somewhat get why she probably would be excited. probably a little similar along the lines like if my wife would be excited about it. Normally, Opening Day is pretty much a signal of spring is here, winter is over. Although, of course, in the areas where you live, it's
just
still
had snow this morning.
Cold.
Yeah, not us today.
I'm just saying, in your areas, in Connecticut for you deeds, and in Pennsylvania for you wise, it could be bone chilling cold for another month. So
they can't.
I remember watching Andy Pettit pitch in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up this morning and my lawn was covered with snow. I'm like, son.
I remember watching Yankee games where guys were pitching. I'm like, is it snowing? What is going on here? And they were just playing through the snow. I was like, all right, this works.
That's what we get for living in the Northeast. That's what happens.
I mean, yeah, but I would think that's how your wife was looking at it. It's like, cool, winter's over, spring is here, and it's about to be warm soon. It may not be but a minute, but it's still going to be warm soon. So
it's I can't wait till it starts warming up. To take Bryson to the park.
See,
so now since he's older now, he's walking now, so I ain't got to carry him everywhere.
There you go.
Oh, he's walking now. So when is he going to get when is Pop going to get him his first glove?
Soon, because I do want him to play T-ball when he hits 4. So
that is how you introduce baseball right there. That's how you do it. If you want to get the younger crowd and a younger audience, that is how you do it. You market it toward people like us who have children and grandchildren, and then we pass the beauty of the game down to them. You don't necessarily need to say, okay, well, these millennials who really could give a crap about anything other than TikTok videos, and they only have an attention span that's 30 seconds long, let's do something to cater our product toward them. They didn't care before, they won't care now, and they won't care in the future. They care what they care about.
Yep.
Market it to those who actually love the product so they can pass it down to the people who they will love it to.
But if they fought, like I can already see him being behind the mic, because he comes into the studio, he loves the mic. He gets on the mic and says, "Hey, well," and he's very charismatic. He knows.
Yeah.
And I can see him doing something like this or even being an entertainer somehow, because he sees me doing it. So he's like, well, Pop does it. So, okay, this is cool. So whatever he sees me doing, he gravitates.
And he seems to respect the mic too. That's the
thing.
Yeah,
he does.
That's the thing. Because you would normally you only have a child that age. They just see this and that. They see this inanimate object to them, and they'll just go and just either hit it or peck at it or reach for it. No, he wants to speak into it. Yeah. It's like, man, he already knows what it is. and see, that is what baseball is right there. It's carving those moments, and that's what Star Wars was supposed to be. It was supposed to carve those moments to where our children and grandchildren will say, well, what is this thing? What is Han Solo? What is Luke Skywalker? Who is Leia? All right, who is Palpatine? And then they would get a better understanding of the story that's being told now, because they would have the history of it. And when you poo-poo on the history of anything, the younger generation will not care about the product that's out there now, let alone the product that came before it.
And it's like when it's like like you were just saying, like when you're talking, when you're talking to Bryson and you're talking to him about, man, there was this guy Barry Bonds and he had a violent swing. Well, if all Bryson hears about is how Barry Bonds took steroids and he was a horrible human being and all of this, and he's going into that conversation with that in his head, he's going to be like, I don't care about, I don't care how I don't care about his swing. I don't care about his eye. I don't care about this.
That's the great thing about being a Yankee fan. I can talk about the core four. I'm saying I can talk about Derek Jeter. I can talk about Mariano Rivera. I can talk about Andy Pettit, even though we know his little blemish, but talk about Jorge Posada. So I don't necessarily, and I wouldn't. I don't know. I'm not a. Listen. I respect Barry Bonds. He's a great baseball player, but was I ever really gravitating towards him? Not really. I didn't. I knew he was great. Believe me, I've seen him play when he was in Pittsburgh. He was great then. So to me, it was just his chase. To me, was just it wasn't. I don't think he did it for the right purposes.
Well, I don't think he did either.
But I don't think he did it to be like, I want to set the benchmark.
No, I think he.
I did it more. I think he did it more for ego.
Yes,
and more for self.
Yeah,
and I
did
can't
it from the standpoint of, okay, so Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, they getting all this attention, but I'm not, and I know I'm better than they are.
Yeah.
So, they're getting attention because they're hitting a long ball. Well, I'll show them. Yeah. I'll show them all. I'll show them all I can hit the long ball. Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and my favorite Barry Bonds moment or thing to say about Barry Bonds was Greg Maddux, who I view as the greatest pitcher of all time because he never walked anybody, never did anything. You know, he had years where he had single digit walks, years, not complete seasons where he had single digit walks. He was asked one day, how do you pitch to Barry Bonds? And he said, you don't.
You don't.
He said, don't throw him a strike. and that to me is the greatest thing. He said, if you put it near him, he's going to hit it. And it's either going to go out of the ballpark or he's going to hit it where somebody's not standing.
Yeah, but
and I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is Greg Maddux we're talking about. and even he was like, nope.
Yeah, and very few had control of the ball like he did. And control.
He said, if I walk him and he gets one base, that's awesome. It's better than 4.
And by the way, the game that was only an hour and 50 minutes that I watched, Greg Maddux was the starting pitcher, and pitched 8 innings.
Listen, he is the professor. Greg Maddux was a professional pitcher.
Yeah,
he wasn't going to overpower you.
Mm-mm.
He was going to outpitch you. He was going to outthink you. Like, this is where you like it, or I'm gonna put it right here. Let's see if you hit it. If you can hit it there.
Yeah.
Or this is where you like it. I'm gonna put it right here down the way.
Yeah. You're gonna hit my pitch. You're not gonna hit yours. Yeah.
Greg was great because he would say, catcher set up on the inside. I'm gonna throw it right there, right on the black of the plate.
He pitched. He knew.
Do it.
He's one of the few pitchers I've ever seen know where he wanted the pitch to be exactly. Every single time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen him throw a bad pitch. Like, if he put it where he intended to put the pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely one of the masters of pitching. That's not even a question. But you can tell Bryson this story about Bonds. Wise, that there was a time where the dude got roundly booed when he stepped up to the plate, and then he turned on the pitch and sent into the upper deck in right field, and all you could hear was this loud, rousing applause. You thought you were in PNC Park when he hit the home run, because all you heard was awes and claps. Like, oh my gosh!
I don't know. Listen, that without a doubt. You want to it's not even that his swing was violent. He had a swing. His swing was just as good as Griffey's, just as good as Strawberry's. Yeah. He had that beautiful left-handed swing, and he would put it up 4 or 5 rows up.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody swing like that. When I say it's violent, I just meant he swung every time he hit the ball. I was like, you got all of that one.
Yeah, I think even though Griffey's and Strawberry swings were pretty, and Bond's early swing when he was with the Pirates, his swing was pretty. It seemed like to me when he got with the Giants, his swing got more compact,
Mm-hmm.
and he got the barrel of the bat to the strike zone faster.
Because I think
it was absolute. It was and it was an absolute horror.
I think because in Pittsburgh,
and you see him at the plate. And
I think in Three Rivers, he had to hit in general, hit all over. He wasn't just a pull hitter. Right. And then when you get to San Francisco, and
definitely the PNC Park,
and he had McCovey Cove
right there waiting for you.
Yeah,
who's not going to be the pull hitter, especially when you got when your bat speed is that ridiculously fast through the strike zone.
Yeah, because remember, the candlestick was still in effect when he got to the Giants.
Yeah,
but definitely when they built PNC Park, it was like, oh yeah, you knew he was going to be a pull hitter. His goal was to have every ball he hit swim there in the McCovey Cove.
Well, you talked about the prettiest of swings. Let me tell you, the greatest ugly swing of all time is Mike Piazza.
I love how you said that.
It looks like he's swinging.
I would argue Vladdy had an ugly, productive swing. Piazza had a pretty good swing.
The thing about Mike Piazza is it always looked like he was swinging like a club. Like his bat looks like it was like 65 ounces.
That's a very
like a lumberjack.
It looked like he was golfing instead of swinging a bat. Yeah. And I'd always say, you don't use any of your legs, Piazza. It's just all arms and waist. How do you not throw out your back? But the ball would sail 400 feet. So I'm like, so it's working for him. I'm like, all right. Oh my gosh. All right, so my question to you, Dietz, is, so you're seeing a franchise in the Star Wars canon in the hands of Disney, and they have ruined it in your eyes. And I'm not going to disagree with you on that. You see Major League Baseball going on the same road with similar results. And I definitely am not going to disagree with you there. What do you think it's going to take to turn the tide with both the Star Wars canon and with Major League Baseball?
I think what it's been the overall thing that we've been talking about for the last basically 20 minutes is stop chasing the mythical audience. Stop trying to go after an audience that doesn't exist. Listen to the audience that you have. The audience that you have will tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and listen to those people, because those are the people that love you. Those are the people that are already in your camp. You don't need to go out and go after people who don't like you. If they don't like you already, you're not going to entice them to come over. Get the people who listen to the people you have. And look, everything's not going to work. It's okay to try new things. It's okay to try them. But when people tell you this isn't working, react to that. All right, this isn't working. Let's scrap that. Let's try something new. That's where Star Wars went completely off the deep end with, oh, you don't like this? Well, screw you. We're going to double down and do it even more. And it's like, no. And all it takes is to have respect for the fan base that you have. Have respect. Respect the people that go to the ballpark. They always try to get the TV audience. Entice the people who are coming to the ballpark. The people who are coming to the ballpark, those are the people you want to cherish. You want them to have the best time that they're ever going to have. So that when they go home, they say, man, I want to do that again.
Yeah, because they're directly pouring money into the product.
Those are the people you want. Those are the people you want to go after.
Yeah. They're directly pouring money into the product. Okay, we will leave it there. So, yeah, this is something that I think we definitely will talk about in the future for sure, because I totally agree with you. I'm all on board with your analogy, because I do think Major League Baseball needs to not go after fandom that doesn't exist. I'm 100% with you there. So what is on tap for the next installment of the Fifth Down Sports Show?
The next installment of the Fifth Down Sports Show will not be until next week, because obviously today's opening day. I'm not wasting my opening day. I'm watching everything, and I'm enjoying baseball today. That's what today is for. I was gonna do a show maybe on Saturday, but then I realized, oh wait, UConn's playing on Saturday, so that's out of the question. So the next Fifth Down Sports Show will be either celebrating UConn as the greatest college basketball program in the last 25 years, or it will be UConn lost in the Final Four, and they're still the greatest basketball team in the last 25 years. So that's coming down the pike. We'll definitely do a show next week, as we took our pretty much a March break, but April gets us ready, because end of April we got the NFL draft. So
that's right.
We got a lot of work to do. And yes, I know I spent a lot of time doing entertainment. The next month is all NFL draft. That's all that's coming down the pike.
In fact, the NFL draft is 4 weeks from today, so you're correct on that.
Exactly. And of course,
days coming up.
Of course, reminder to everybody, April 8th. It's a Saturday. Get your popcorn ready and get ready for In and Out Sports Debate with Drew, me, and Joey. It's gonna be. I already know one of the questions. Mm-hmm. I already know what one of the questions is going to be, and I have my nuclear bomb ready to drop, and it's gonna be good. So get ready for that. That's what I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for the In and Out. I'm going to take Drew and Joe and take them to the woodshed, but we need the Snowman Army to be there behind us, because that's how we roll.
All right. Well, you have it there first. Deets will be joining one of the sports senseis, Drew Willingham, as he will go to Drew's show, In or Out Sports Debate. That will be April 8th. That's a Saturday. 8 p.m. Eastern start, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. And guaranteed, when you hear Deets talk sports, just like you've heard him here do so, you will be enlightened. And so will Drew. And the other way will be true, too, because Drew has wonderful takes as well. That's Christopher Deets. He always joins us every Thursday, going totally Deets. It is a pleasure as always, my man. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope you enjoy your opening day later on today.
Absolutely. Same to you guys. And, who's Houston playing today?
Doggone, I don't know. That's a good question. But I'll find that out. That's a good question.
I was the same way when they asked me who the Mets are playing. I was like, I don't know. I guess they're playing the Marlins today, so right. I'm pretty excited about that. And wise, who do the Yankees have?
Giants, baby.
Giants
are visiting.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
man. All right. Well, you will definitely see. Well, we already know you're going to see him next Saturday night. On In or Out Sports Debate on the Legacy Maker Sports Network YouTube channel. You will see him here next Thursday as well on the Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson show, as we get totally Deets, as we've just gotten. Thank you again, my man. I totally appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Passionate.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
Totally.
This one has a chance.
Deets.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, W-I-Z-E.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Cause
And to knock a man because he makes $1,000 a week? Oh, y'all need to get over yourselves, ladies. This is ridiculous. Because some of y'all not even making $1,000 a week. No, we're more than working hard, and there's so much more to us. And if you would really sit down and get to know a man, then you would see this. But y'all want to continue to put a value on what we do. Or dollar value, please stop it. Get over yourselves, because some of y'all not bringing in 500 a week. So what the y'all talking about? Get over it. And that's all I got to say for this week. And oh yeah, Boston. That's the Yankee fan in me.
You want to hear who else he curses out? Join Wise and myself every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern on the Comey Media Incorporated YouTube channel, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Real Wise TV YouTube channel. And if you want to catch it on TV, today, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on the PS3 network via Roku TV. You can download the Roku TV device, PS3 network, and you can see it there. And we thank you all for your support. Back at it on Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I'm joined by my mentality co-partner and brother and co-host, Wise Elefe. And I can't tell you how much fun I have doing that show. And it seems like others are having fun having us do that. In fact, Victor earlier in the chat said that, oh, there's two Wises. He says when you get the Snowman, he's all calm and composed, and he wants to stick by the rules. He says, but when it comes to mentality, he just goes completely off.
Well, that's because Cole gets me topics that he knows that I'm gonna enjoy.
Exactly.
So,
and you got to, because I'm like, where does my man live and breathe? Because I know he has topics for days that he can go off on. So I'm like, okay. And that is my goal every week when I come up with the show. I'm like, okay, I know we can do the serious stuff, and of course, Wise will take it seriously, like I know he would, and he would respect the topic, like I figure he would. And then there'll be the other tacos where it's like, all right, Wise, what do you really think about this? And go. And I love it.
Oh yeah,
I love
definitely enjoy so much. I have a great time doing it. So
I do too. I have a great time planning it. I have a great time actually hosting it with you, and it's just great to not know exactly what you're going to say, and I just sit back and just watch you go off, and I laugh, like like the clip you just saw. Now we have a segment at the end of the show called Thoughts from the Throne, and it's basically a moment where each of us take 2 minutes to spend some time to dispense wisdom to men or even to women who probably could do better in addressing or being with men. And so I did not expect at the end of his latest Thought from the Throne to throw a pot shot at the city of Boston because he already did so earlier in the show. So I'm like, okay.
Yes.
So he already threw that. He already threw it because WEEI's Greg Hill show decided to act the fool with Mina Kimes, and he got his F Boston bomb off. But he decided to say, you know what, as an exclamation point, here we go. I'm a Yankees fan. Bam. And I wasn't expecting it. And that's why I love the show so much.
Oh no, that segment was crazy because it was a clip because this chick talked about a man who makes $1,000 a week is a broke man, and I'm thinking to myself like, well, that's almost everybody. That's almost every man. Because there's not a lot of men making $1,000 a week.
No,
it's not. So you're talking about every man. So now you getting really disrespectful. Like So yeah.
Oh my gosh! And Victor says, "Look, the stuff about Jason Whitlock was hilarious, dude. I had a feeling it was going to go that way because I didn't even introduce Jason Whitlock into the bit.
No, I did.
But I figured it was going to. But I figured it was going to be, and I was going to allow Wise to do it, and he did, and he went exactly the way I thought he was going to go with it. And that is, to me, one of the funniest shorts that I've created because I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is hilarious." And going through it in the recording, I said, "Oh man, this is absolute gold."
I'm glad I could provide such great moments.
Because it's like, because I'm thinking, Wise is really blacking out. He's just going in. It's like,
oh yeah, because again, like I said, he's not relevant to me. Like, when has he ever been relevant to me? He's never been relevant. He's never been anyone that like, oh man, I gotta check out his. Nah, he's never been someone like.
The messed up part about that is seemingly that is what has been his career. It's like, okay, I know him for something, I think, but what? And then when you listen to his peers, it's as if you have to go few and far between to hear anybody who has something positive to say about him. And because it seems like for the most part, his colleagues are like, "Do you even talk sports?"
Like, dude, you interjected yourself into something that was none of your damn business. Like,
yeah,
you just wanted to make yourself relevant. You just wanted to let me get people to talk about me. So let me say something stupid. Like, okay, you said something stupid. Now,
no,
I'm gonna say something ridiculously stupid about you.
Oh my god!
And I hope you do see it. I hope you comment on it. I would love for you to comment on it. It'd be great.
Yes, please do.
Please do. Please
do.
Because I have no problem retorting.
Oh yeah, I have no problem with it either. Victor, I agree with you. I think Jason Whitlock is a contrarian for the sake of being contrary, just for the sake of doing it. And sometimes that's fine if, like, for example, for me, I know I go against the grain with the pitch clock. It's not because it's like, okay, most people actually like it. Let me go against it. It's not even that. I just simply vehemently dislike the pitch clock.
Now, whereas I really don't care. I do like the pitch count because I feel like it's gonna have to make the pitcher really think about what he's gonna throw. So he's not gonna be waving off fastball is
right.
I think in that process, it might help the pitcher.
True.
But I just don't like the nonsense with the Real Muto stupid. Oh, that was stupid. That was that umpire deserves to get fined or suspended for like 2-3 months. Because how you gonna eject the catcher because he pulled the glove down, not aware that you was throwing the ball? These umpires are getting a little bit too full of themselves.
Yeah, and now they don't have to enforce the rules as much because you got things like the pitch. That's why I'm vehemently against it. But I'm not saying it because I'm seeing, okay, I'm reading the tea leaves. Okay, everybody loves it, so let me take the stance against it. I just don't like it. But if it's something that I like, I can say, okay, here's the argument against it, but I actually like it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go contrary just for the sake of it. But I believe I agree with you, Victor. I think Jason Whitlock does that far too much. It's like, okay, I'm going to go the opposite. Like, especially if it's anything that has a race component. You know he's going to go, I hate to say it this way, you know he's going to go anti-black with it.
Oh, you said it correctly. You said it correctly. He is.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be
every
he is
race
the house
thing, he
Negro.
goes anti-black to it. Yeah. Every.
I hate to say that, but he is the house Negro.
Yeah. Now there's some aspects of me where I would say, okay, I would go anti-black just simply because I just think it's ridiculous. But everything, no.
No, he does everything. It's like
everything with him.
Everything is it's the black people's fault. Like seriously, dude. Like seriously.
Yeah.
I really don't like your attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, and it gets annoying. It really does.
Oh, it blew my mind that a comment that had nothing to do with him. No. Nobody tagged him. Nobody put him in there. Nothing. He wants to attack the person supposedly being attacked because she didn't really get offended by it. But he went all out. We're hanging with sticking out across the cross, like, and she wasn't even acting like that way. It was just ridiculous that you are portraying it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was chill about it. I love her comment. I love the fact that she put Mila's picture in front as her avatar.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that shows she has a sense of humor. It was just this clown wanting to, again, make himself relevant because he's not really relevant, at least not in my world.
Well, like I said, in most people's worlds, he's not. All right,
he just wanted to get his name out there again. So
right, exactly. All right, now before we go, there is this event that's going to go on this weekend. Yes, I know the Final Four, but I'm not talking about that. We'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But WrestleMania.
Yes.
Out in L.A. Night 1 is Saturday. Night 2 is Sunday.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about it?
I think he and I'm listen. I'm a bloodline dude. I'm a day one ish.
Oh, same.
But I love the fact that Cody might be able to take the title away from him. I enjoy it. I think Roman needs a vacation. So if anyone deserves to be the dude to take off that title, I think it is Cody, especially after the classic match he had with Seth Rollins after tearing his pec.
Oh gosh.
That to me just showed me what this business means to him.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone's gonna represent the title with class and with the way someone's supposed to really truly rep, and Roman's been repping the title
well,
hands down. He's been doing his thing.
Beast job with it.
Yes, he's in God mode, definitely.
Oh my God.
But if someone's gonna take Roman down, why not Cody? Cody's he set a trail, a different trailblaze when he went to AEW, built that company up,
Mm-hmm.
got it to where it's at now. Came back last year at WrestleMania. Had 2 great matches with Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being a 5-star, a Meltzer 5-star match.
Right. And did that
Why not?
Cody, and then the performance in the cell. Woo.
Yeah, he's listen. If anyone deserves it, it is Cody. He deserves to be the guy for a minute, and I'm happy if he does. I would love to see it happen. And then, of course, Sami Zayn has been the hottest thing
in wrestling
in the past year.
Yeah,
the work he's put in, him and Kevin Owens to win a tag team title, I would love it. It's time to give other people shine. The Bloodline's been on top for a while. It's time to give other people opportunities and see where they take and run with it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to what Montez Ford is gonna bring, man. I see a bright future for Montez Ford. I love the Street Profits.
I do too.
But I really can see Montez as a solo guy and really taking it to another level, because he's got that swag about him. He's got that athletic build. He's got the look. I think he's
and he's fire on the stick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got it all. He's got all the pack. He's got everything you would want out of a superstar.
Yeah.
And D'Angelo Hawkins is great. Yes,
he's awesome. I like him.
But
he
to
is
me,
Montez Ford, though.
Montez is that guy.
Yeah. You know who he reminds me of? Not necessarily in build, but in stature, in terms of how he was with the tag team, and then how you could see how he would be as a single. Booker T.
Yeah. Because you come from a tag team thing, and there's always one, and in the tag team, there's always that one guy could be that breakout single guy with the Rockers, with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels. With the Hart Financials, Bret Hart. Yeah.
There's always that one guy when he goes. It was with Booker T with Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
To me, Tez is that guy.
Yeah.
Tez could be that guy where he's that breakout star.
Yeah.
But I'm actually excited for the NXT matches, man. I like that Braun Breaker Carmelo Hayes matchup.
Ooh, I'm glad you talk about that. But yeah, huge Bloodline fan. That's right. Day one ish. Yeah. Yes. I've been a fan of Usos ever since they debuted in WWE.
Yeah, with
Tamina. Much less when they became what they are now. I love what they become.
Yeah,
I mean they're
without a doubt, if not the best tag team in wrestling right now. They're 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
There's not.
Yeah.
The only other team I could probably say would be the Bucks. FTR, yeah, but right now, it's hands down, and it's the Usos. It's they've beat the best. They've beaten they've beaten FTR when they were in WWE. They've beaten the Good Brothers. They've beaten the only team is that dream matchup, if that ever what's happened.
Right. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the Bloodline, and yes, the Bloodline storyline. I always quantified it before the Royal Rumble in saying is the best storyline I have seen WWE execute ever since the Mega Powers. But the moment Sami Zayn bashed Roman Reigns in the back with a chair, I said, this is the best storyline WWE has ever produced in the history of the promotion.
It's gotten over so
many layers.
Sammy's gotten over so big.
Yes.
Doing it.
Yes.
And
it's like
it's been great.
Yeah, it's like you knew that moment was going to come. You wanted to see that moment come. And when he did it, I was so glad that the crowd in San Antonio gave him the payoff pop reaction that moment deserved.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's when I said Sami Zayn is the number one babyface in the business today.
Yeah.
And he still is now. And yes, and I'm saying that even with Cody being a magnificent. But to me, Sami Zayn is he's the biggest babyface in the business. And he did it because how he carved the character because this time last year he was going to go up against Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
And so you think about this, and this of course it was a gimmick match, and of course you already know what the Jack A crew, what you're going to get, and you got that in that match. And Sami played his role perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes from that to more than likely, if it hasn't been announced, I'm sure it's going to be he's going to be now the main event of night one of WrestleMania. And you saw how he earned it on the mic, in the ring, and in storyline. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy is an absolute beast. And I didn't care about him. I mean, to me, it was like, okay, so he's doing sort of like this crazy conspiracy theorist gimmick. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I could care less about him. But then I started to get interested in him when he got enveloped into the Bloodline storyline. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see how this goes.
It
and
was pure magic.
He has knocked it out the park every single week.
It's been gold. It's been gold for them. That storyline has been gold.
Yeah.
And the way they've worked it out. And listen, like you said, this has been one of my favorites. Like I don't really watch wrestling like that anymore. I do and I don't. Sometimes it depends how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I wake up the next morning and I definitely catch the clips.
That's what I do.
And one of the first clips I catch, I always look for is the Bloodline clips to see what's going on with them and see what's happening with them.
Yeah.
But
I'll say this. So that's what I do. I normally the next morning catch the clips of the big time pay-per-view shows and Raws and SmackDowns. Yeah. And of course AEWs with the Rampages and Dynamites. But I actually had the chance to watch live on Peacock. I had a chance to actually watch live the end of the Kevin Owens Roman Reigns match in Royal Rumble. I actually got a chance to catch that. My jaw kept dropping because it's like I just kept saying to myself, "Oh my gosh, who's the standout star in this doggone storyline?" It's like Sami played his part beautifully. Kevin played his part beautifully. Jay, he played his part beautifully, and then Roman. Of course, Sami, he did his thing, but Roman, I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude is going next level acting. I'm like, what in the world? And he played that role of, you are one of those sinister human beings. You are, but you get to look at him and you see this father to son type of reaction that he gave Sami when the Bloodline was beating Sami down. I was like, oh my gosh, this fool is going all in. I gave you the world. I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude is invested in the character. Yeah, it's like at the end of it, I was applauding for everybody in the whole storyline that night. I was like, oh man, yes, whatever you do, continue this. I'm going to hate when it ends, but good Lord, you all are producers of good stuff. And to your point, today marks exactly 2.5 years since Roman Reigns won the WWE Championship. So he's been the double champion for a year. He's been the WWE champion for 2.5 years. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's probably time for him to
take that break,
rest for a little bit, take a break.
Take that break. He's been carrying the company. Been carrying the company since the pandemic. He's been the best man in the business.
Yes,
hands
down.
No
question.
There's no one else. I don't care. There's no one in AEW. There's no one overseas. There's no one that's done what Roman's reign has done.
The
in
only
these
stretch
2.5 years.
the only stretch they came close was probably the Kenny Omega run where he was the belt collector in 2021.
Yeah.
But even then, I was like, man, Roman still is outshining him. Still. I mean, it's like I was like, on
He's
the
carrying
mic,
the biggest company in his
yes.
in the business on
I
his
was like,
back.
yes. I'm like, on the mic, he's carrying it. In the ring, he's carrying it. In storyline, he's carrying it. And he's telling stories in the matches. And I'm like, man. I was like, you definitely don't paint by numbers. You actually want us to get invested in every single man. I am a huge Tribal Chief fan. Love him.
Yeah.
Love him. Love him. I mean, the dude has made no mistakes to me as the Tribal Chief. None.
No, it's been a beautifully told story.
Yeah.
And to me, it's one of my favorite storylines, and it's made him one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yes. Same. And as for your comments about Montez Ford, Hard TV, I agree with you. Montez Ford could definitely be the next icon. I actually think WWE, and of course, thankfully, Triple H is a respecter of wrestling history. I think what they need to do is they need to go back to look how Booker T rose from being a tag team specialist to the single superstar that he was, and I think they need to build Montez Ford in the similar type of vein, where it's like you cannot do anything but get behind him because you look forward to see what he's going to do next in the ring because he can make anybody look good in it. And you look forward to hearing what he's going to say on the mic because he makes anything sound good. And you know that he's going to be a great marketer of the product because he is a company guy. So it's like there isn't anything to me that Montez Ford cannot do. And oh, by the way, he is the husband of one of the best women wrestlers that's going
in the
today
world.
in Bianca Belair.
Yep.
You know, so in the future, they possibly could do big tags, and that could main event, knowing how WWE can move. So, you know, to me, the sky's the limit for Montez. It totally is. Oh, Ryan, this is interesting, man. He says the ultimate swerve would be for Paul Heyman to betray Roman Reigns at Mania, which I thought he was going to do at last year's Mania. I actually did think that. And because of it, it dissolves the bloodline and becomes the advocate of Cody Rhodes.
I don't think he'll become the advocate for Cody. I think he'll go back to Brock, and that's what kind of Cody was hinting at this past week.
Of course he was. Of course he was, and I love that. That's another thing about Cody. I'm gonna get to Cody in a minute, but I don't think Paul would serve
Cody well. No.
Yeah, I don't think he would serve Cody well. Now, maybe if Cody was going to turn heel, possibly, but I don't think they want to turn him heel because they don't need to. They don't need to turn Cody heel. And people, I mean, his story is so feel good, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not sure if Paul would be beneficial for Cody. Now for Brock, yes, I could see him going back to Brock, and I could see the two of them basically have maybe a few matches between this and next year's WrestleMania, and they go into the sunset happy, both of them retiring. I could see that. I could totally see that. Victor says, unfortunately, it will seem the only way to do that is for Montez to turn on Angelo Dawkins, which I don't want. I don't know if I want to see Montez as a heel, but they might test him.
It could be Doc. It could be Doc turning on Tez because he's feeling like everybody's talking about Tez and nobody's talking about him. There's a good jealousy angle they could play.
But I was about to say, I think it would be more along the lines of what you just said.
Yeah,
Doc turning heel on Montez.
Yeah,
I can see that, and I think Dawkins could play a better heel to me than Montez. But I could actually see that WWE try to see if Montez can be a heel and say, okay, let's see how you go. I don't want them to do it, though. I don't want them to turn Montez heel, though. At least not now, I don't, because I don't think it would be necessary. Oh yeah, and he's agreeing with us. He says, "Yeah, I'm saying Dawkins will turn heel because I don't want. I seriously don't want him to go heel either. I definitely don't want Ford to go heel, but the way Angelo carries himself, I'm like, I can see him being a heel, and I can see him actually going further as a heel, actually in singles.
Yeah.
Now, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. Where do we begin?
Two of the brightest stars in the future, right there.
The way they have promoted this match has been top tier. I love how they've had both guys basically play the respect angle with each other and say, "We came up together. You know that I'll do anything to get this title and I'll do anything to keep it. But I want you to stay healthy as possible because when we do battle, you better watch out because I'm going to give you my best shot and I want to receive your best shot." I believe we might be seeing a WWE WrestleMania main event in about 5-6 years with these two.
Could be.
And I've been a huge fan of both.
Yes.
I'm a bigger fan. I'm a bigger fan of Hayes than I am of Braun, but
So
love
am I.
Braun.
I love Braun Breaker because I was a big Steiners fan.
Same.
But I love Mello. I love Mello. He kills it on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
He kills it in the ring. He does some of the most amazing things in the ring. I just love his swagger.
Yes. I have to admit, because he was a face when he came into NXT, and I hated when they turned him heel.
But now you see why.
But it was necessary. Yes, it was necessary because he got a chance to have his character grow.
Yes.
And the moment when I first saw him say, "I am him," I was like, you got me right there, man. You got me. You are him, sir. I love that.
Yes. He's
definitely
him.
Oh, I was like, that was just beautiful. I am him. Yeah, I'm a huge Carmelo Hayes fan. Man, love him.
Yeah.
But I agree. It was necessary to turn him heel because it got a chance to actually have us show, okay, so this guy can work. This guy has a great character. This guy can do anything you throw at him, and you can get behind him. Because it's going to be it's becoming increasingly difficult to boo the guy.
Yeah, it is. He's one of those heels that you enjoy watching him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's like, dang, because at first, yeah, I could boo him. I was like, I really don't like you, dude. And it wasn't even because of swagger. It was, I just don't know what there is for me to latch onto you. Now I don't have that problem.
Yeah. It just shows his growth in the last year or so.
Yeah.
From where him and even adding Trick to the mix was great. I think
that was a good move. Yeah.
That was a good. Every star needs his sidekick, and even though Trick has been doing great too. Eventually, I think he'll be his own. He'll be his own star.
He is. He will be.
But yeah, like I'm really enjoying. I actually watch more NXT than I do the regular programming because I enjoy to see where the development of these characters, where they're taking them, and Grayson Waller is another one.
I was going to say, since you say that, I do want to know your take on Grayson Waller.
Oh, he's amazing. He's got it on the mic, and he works the ring. He knows how to work the ring. He has the talent. Listen, on the mic and in the ring, the boy is gifted. And now he's putting it together. Now you're putting him to work with one of the best in Johnny Gargano.
Oh my God!
So
if that match,
what they've been doing lately has been fire.
If that match doesn't steal the show, I don't know what will.
It might steal the whole entire WrestleMania weekend. I think that's how talented these two men are.
Yeah, they are.
And they can put on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
Just like I think Braun and Carmelo
Carmelo can.
might be that show, might be the one that everyone's talking about through the whole entire WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm
Now,
excited, man. NXT has some. Wesley has surprised me.
Same.
Without,
I did not think he was going.
I didn't think he would. No, I didn't think he would.
Singles.
I would think he would. I thought he was going to drown when he lost his partner.
I did too.
And he's stepped it up to another level where I love him as the North American champion.
And here's when I actually started to. Actually, I had to start to give it up for Carmelo Hayes. I was like, so this dude is having a string of really good matches because I love the match that he had with Solo before he dropped the belt to Wesley. I love that match a lot. So I was like, okay, so that's gonna be a future feud. I could see that those two, they could tear it up. And then I see that Carmelo could tear it up with West, and I'm thinking, doggone. And I left that match respecting Wesley as a singles competitor, because of course he was the bomb as a tag team competitor. But yeah, I respect him as a singles competitor. And then I was like, okay, yeah, Carmelo is the guy. Carmelo, you can stamp him as being an elite player, and I'm not just talking about NXT. I'm talking about you can throw big time main event money at him in the next 3, 4, 5 years. This dude is that dude.
And that's what I love about NXT, because now you're seeing the next superstars. You're seeing to see Theory where he came from with the way.
Yes. Oh, God.
To where he is now, and I am not an Austin Theory fan.
I'm not,
but you can't help but to enjoy his work.
Exactly. That's how I am. I'm not the biggest Austin Theory fan, but
I'm not a big Austin Theory fan.
This dude
but
makes some good
I love
moves.
his work. I love his work. And this promo he just cut this past week where he was in the empty arena.
That was oh man.
Oh, and he said it. He says when I'm out here, even when they're out here, this is how I look at it.
I'm like, oh, that's a great heel line. I love it. It's like he's like, it don't even matter. The fans don't matter. I was like, oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah,
go ahead. Oh yeah.
People are gonna start thinking that we need a wrestling show next.
They probably are. They probably are. Oh, and with Grayson Waller, for me, I love heels that embrace wanting to be booed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily like Grayson Waller, but I don't mean, when I say I don't necessarily like him, I mean he's doing his job. I don't like him.
He's annoying.
Yes, he's annoying. He's annoying, and he's doing his. When I say I don't,
he's
like
doing his
him
job.
Here, yeah, when I say I don't like him, I'm saying it because he's doing his job. So basically, that is an
it's a sign of respect. Yeah,
a sign of respect.
So, it's amazing that when you hate, I don't like using hate, but when you dislike a character so much,
yes,
he is doing his job.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing once he come on the screen, you're like, oh man, I just want to punch Grayson Waller in the face.
Yeah, if
for him to get that out of you, is what he's supposed to do.
Yes, yes.
So that's why I give him the utmost respect, because he brings that out of me where I just want to punch Grayson Waller in the face.
Yes, yes, yes. That is how I feel about Grayson Waller. I'm like, dang man, I can't stand him. But he's putting forth some top tier work, man. Because that dude knows what he's doing in the ring. That dude is fire on the mic, and he seems to get himself in position to make whomever is opposing him look good too, whether it's in the ring or if it's storyline wise. Like, I love the fact that he's going after Shawn Michaels. I'm like, look at him. Look at him. Look at that character being so obnoxious and so annoying that he's attacking a beloved character. And it's like, man, it's like, I see you. I see you. You actually want us to really want you to be buried under the dirt. So all I had to say is, you doing your job, Grayson. You doing your job. Yep. Oh, let me see. Vic says, I was watching one of his old segments where Io Shirai was screaming at him in Japanese, and Grayson sat there and listened and said, I think she likes me. Pure gold. Oh, man. Now, see you. Oh. And he says, the mark of a successful heel is, I hate this guy. I want to buy a ticket to see my heroes beat him senseless. Yes. Yes. Hence, my favorite heel of all time, Roddy Piper, because he was the quintessential heel of that nature. To where I hated him, to where I would want to pay money to see somebody beat the brakes off him. And I never felt that way. I never felt the way that passionately about anybody else.
But he's the one who made Piper's what he made that heel role where, but he made it to the point where
you hated him till you loved him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I love Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
End of the day, I love Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a kid, he was that heel. You just, oh my God. Snooker's going to get you. Hogan's going to get you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One day, Piper, you're going to get yours.
Right. You're going to get yours, Piper. One of these days. Somebody, Orndorff, Hogan, Snooker, somebody going to get you. And yeah, Mr. T. And then you start to say, well, doggone it. I'm actually respecting this guy. He's double tough.
Yeah.
He's funny on the mic. He's double tough. Doggone it, I'm actually finding myself liking him. And unfortunately, a lot of people thought the same thing as we did. And then he became one of the biggest baby faces in short order.
And that's where I kind of like, I think Steve Austin comes into play after that.
Yeah.
Is where he was a heel.
Mm-hmm. It was hard for me to hate him, man.
But he just had them phrases. What?
Yes.
What?
It was hard for me to hate him. Hard.
He just said that.
Yeah, because I kept laughing with stuff that he kept saying. Like, God, my favorite promo of all time, my favorite commercial promo of all time was when he was cutting promos dissing Bret Hart to lead up to the 1996 Survivor Series. He said, I ain't a sexy boy. I don't dance, son. All I could do was just keep laughing because I was like, you were entertaining me, dude. I get that I'm supposed to hate you. I can't because I find you humorous. I find you funny.
Yeah.
But I find him funny in the sense of I can see one of my boys saying things like this. So it's like, man.
No, he's definitely one of those characters where, yeah, you enjoyed his work.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Now, Shawn Michaels, right after he turned on Mario Jannetty, couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand him. And probably when he became the W champion before he dropped it to Austin, couldn't stand him then either. But unfortunately, the second time around, it was because it was the person I could not stand. You know, when his Intercontinental title run, it was the character of HBK I couldn't stand. But the DX Shawn Michaels, hated him. I hated the guy. And although to me, Triple H, to me, was a better heel than Shawn Michaels, I never hated him to that degree, ever. But he played the heel role better. But I never hated him as much as I did Shawn Michaels because I just thought he was a prick. And it's like, man, I want somebody off storyline, just give him a good punch right to the nose. So to me it was like, yeah, that isn't like I'm investing in the character and he's doing his job. It's, dang, yeah, you good in the ring, but you just a prick. you just need your butt. You need your butt whooped. And
somebody got to show you, yeah.
You need your butt whooped as a shoot. Forget the work. You need your butt whooped as a shoot. That is how I felt about Shawn Michaels circa late 1997, early 1998. But I say Victor says like Piper, Flair, Heenan, etc. Yeah, Heenan, similar. I get why people hated him, but he was so entertaining. He would come up with the one-liners. I'd just be laughing butt off. and then there's Flair. I never once could hate Flair. I don't know why. I never could. I tried. I never could.
No. Even when, and I'm a big Sting fan. Like Sting, I'm a huge Sting fan. And even when him and Sting used to go out, I just had the utmost respect for Flair.
Yeah.
Because he put it all on the line when him and Sting had that match. Clash of Champions 3. That to me is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life.
The anniversary of it just passed, actually. Yep.
It was
the 35th anniversary of that match. Yep.
It was one of the greatest matches, and I saw it live. It was amazing.
I saw that live too, and that match made Sting. That was the match that made Sting.
Yep.
And I just kept seeing matches like that with Flair. Where I was like, how can I hate this guy? The dude made
he entertained. He did his job.
He did his job. The dude made Barry Windham look like $1 million. The dude made well, eventually later he made Steamboat $1 million, but before '88. The dude made Ronnie Garvin look good, and I didn't care about Ronnie Garvin.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course the matches he had with Dusty were great. And the dude made me want to have Ricky Morton be a singles competitor. So I was like, all these guys he's making, and then after that match, that's when he started to have his string of matches with Lex Luger. So I was like, this dude just makes too many people for me to actually say I can't stand him. Because it's like I just love his work in the ring, and the dude on the mic is just absolute gold.
It's rare where you can work with somebody that makes everyone look good.
And he made everybody look good. Everybody. It didn't matter if you were 400 pounds. Didn't matter if you was Rey Mysterio size. He made everybody look good.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah. So it was hard for me to hate Flair because I couldn't. Even when he would be dastardly towards Sting, I still couldn't hate him.
Yep.
And Hot TV says I couldn't stand Triple H as a heel. He did his job, but I think for me, like I said, I never could really say I can't stand you, Triple H. It was, okay, I do want to see you get whooped, but you're okay. For some reason, you're okay. I don't know why, but you're okay. And he did his best to give you reasons to dislike him all the way.
Yeah, he did.
But I never could invest in saying I hate you. I want you to be beaten to
no. There's only certain characters that really you really wanted to hate them. There's certain characters that you just. But it's not that. There very few that you like. Even because even at the beginning, like I couldn't stand Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov.
Same, I couldn't either.
Right, and then Volkov ends up turning babyface, and he loves America now, and so you can no longer hate Nikolai Volkov.
Right,
and then the Sheik now has become this icon.
It's like you can't hate the guy.
You can't hate the Sheik. Like I remember growing up hating the Iron Sheik because he's like, America, sweat.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I humble you. Like you can't hate the Sheik, and it's just
no. It's like you hear all these stories from wrestlers, and you hear all these stories from fans. It's like, dude, Sheik is a cool guy. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm. I make you horrible. Yeah. It's just, yeah. As a youngster, could not stand Sheik at all. But yeah, now I can't say a bad word about him. I can't even try. Oh, good point, Vic. He says Road Warriors were an awesome tag team that were heels, and they worked as heels too when they were faces, but they were incredible. Yeah. And even when Dusty Rhodes tried to turn them heel, the fans just didn't want it. The fans were like, we know they butt whoopers. We know that they come in the ring and they're supposed to destroy everybody that they see in front of them. We like that about them. So it's like, well, you're screwed because you can't turn the Warriors heel because they're
gonna cheer them
love seeing
regardless.
them whoop somebody's behind.
Yeah, it didn't matter who they wanted to whip. Yeah,
yeah. They just love seeing the Warriors just get down, get dirty, get busy, and just destroy people. They just loved them. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. All right, man. Let's see, one more question, and then we'll cut out. So of course we're both looking at Rhodes and Reigns. For both of us, we both have respect for both guys, and we both love. Of course, we both love Roman.
Yeah.
You looking at Montez Ford? So was I. And then of course you said Braun Johnny Gargano and Carmelo and Braun at NXT Stand and Deliver, which is going to be the afternoon show before night one of WrestleMania begins.
Mm-hmm.
All those others off the table. Who are you looking forward to seeing this weekend?
All of those off the table. Who am I looking forward to seeing? I want to see what Seth Rollins and Logan Paul can do.
I knew you was gonna go there.
Because Seth is the ultimate worker.
Yes.
And you can tell that Logan Paul is a phenomenal. He's an amazing athlete.
Gosh. I'm awed
So-
how quick he has picked up the sport. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a great match.
Yeah. And look, kudos to Logan Paul for embracing being an a-hole. He's embracing it. I love it. And yes, that definitely is a match that I believe if it was a possibility, it could overshadow Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, the true main event of the show, or even to me, night one's main event. I think it should be night one's main event. The Usos versus Sami Zayn and KO. It's that one. Logan Paul and Seth Rollins.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh man, but you're right. I think people are probably going to ask us to actually do a wrestling show now. Goodness gracious. Well, I think we're going to put a bow on this and put a pin in it, and I might get a talking to by Snowman saying, doggone, you went over, but that's okay. I think he'll appreciate this podcast part episode extension of today's episode of Snowman in the Morning.
Yeah.
All right, so where can people find you, Wise?
You catch me on Stuck My Mind on every major platform, YouTube, Spotify, everywhere. And catch me on Mentality on Real Wise TV, Comey Media YouTube channel, BS3 Network, and Poppy J and Wise. You can catch that on the BS3 Network Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
And if you think that Wise is something on Mentality, watch Poppy J Wise and Jefe. Poppy Wise is something else there, but Poppy's something else too. That's one of my dudes. I love him, man. I know he's part of one of my favorite shows that I watch on a regular, man. It breaks my heart when I don't see him. It does my heart good when I do. Well, you already know you can catch me here, of course, and like you can catch Wise too on Thursday and Fridays, but you can catch me every day here on Snowman in the Morning. You can catch me every Wednesday, 2 p.m., 1 Central, live with Go Sports with a Z. You can also watch that show too every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central on the BS3 Network, the same place where this show is being carried as well via Roku TV. You can download the app. The app is FREE or free 99 or free. And you also catch me bringing back a lot of revelations in return because it is time for me to dust that off and come with some more interviews. So check out in April for more interviews coming from yours truly. All right, and that will do it for this edition installment of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Thank you to the Fanatic Feedback Zone. Thank you to those at WQEE, those who are watching from BS3 Network, those who are watching through the Snowman Multimedia and the Shady Sports Network YouTube channels. It is a pleasure to do this every single day. And as we always say in parting, take care. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We already know that's what Wise is doing. That's what Snowman is doing. Heal up, my brother. We'll see you tomorrow. That's what I'm doing. We know that's what the chat's doing. We hope you're doing that too. So for Wise, for Snowman, and for Cole, it's time to say adieu. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace out.
On the next Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.